Welcome back to the Crochet Crowd, as well as my friends over at Yarnspirations.com. I'm your host Mikey. Today we're going to do the Crochet Happy Baby Blanket. This is a really simplistic baby blanket. But before we do, let's listen to this real quick. This video has sound alerts added. When you hear this sound, it will be your signal that the segment is finishing up. Press stop and crochet the instructions, and then press play again to continue along in your project. So here's a look at the pattern. We have some rows here all the way from 1 through 5, and then once we get through that, we're going to repeat 2 through 5 through the remaining of the baby blanket. Today on camera, what I'm going to be doing is that I am going to be using a 5mm size H crochet hook today in Bernat Super Value yarn, and because of that, it'll make the holes look bigger than they truly are because I am substituting. I don't have Bernat Baby Sport in stock here to be able to show you, but make sure they use that level of yarn and a 4mm size crochet hook to reduce the size of the holes that you see. So you're going to be looking at this pattern here. You'll see that there's holes. They are kind of offsetting each other, so they're not building on top of each other. They're actually kind of offset like a zigzag all the way up, and we'll be covering that as we do was rows number 1 through 5. So what's going to happen is if you like to change the size of this particular baby blanket, it's in multiples of 4. So if you just chain in multiples of 4, 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4, it'll work out, or you can just chain 160 and you're good to go. Without further ado, let's go look at the pattern, or let's go to the pattern now. Grab your crochet hook and let's play. So to begin, we're going to create a slip knot, and this is an easy level baby blanket. It truly is too. So you can either chain 160 as per the pattern, or go in multiples of 4 if you want to change the size. I'm just going to do a small sample, so I'm just going to do multiples of 4. So 1 2 3 and 4, and then keep on going till you get to happy to the size. So 1 2 3 4, and 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4, and 1 2 3 4, and I'll do it one more time. So 1 2 3 and 4. So either go 160 or chain in multiples of 4 and you'll be good to go. So let's move on now to row number 1. So regardless of the size that you've done, the same row is existing for row number 1. You're going to go 4 chain from the hook, so just count it back. So 1 2 3 and 4. Turn it over and get the back loop of that chain, and I want you to double crochet, and I want you to double crochet in each of the back loops of the chains as you work your way all the way back to the very beginning. So just 1 double crochet in each. So now the sound alerts are now going to happen for the remaining of this tutorial, so you'll just meet me at the end of this row now. So you're doing 1 double crochet in each of the chains all the way to the very end of the chain. So now we're going to turn our work, and now we're going to start establishing the pattern in row number 2. So let's just turn our work. So to begin this row, just very simple, is that we are going to chain up 3, which counts as a double crochet. So 1 2 and 3. Coming into the next stitch available to you, you're going to double crochet like so, and then you're going to chain 2, skip 2 of the next stitches and go into the 3rd for another double crochet, and then double crochet into the next one after that. That's all it is for this particular pattern. So you can see how it's in groups of 4. So you got 1 2 of the chains, and then 3 and 4. So that's how you can determine the multiples. So you're going to chain 2, skip the next 2, and then double crochet in the next 2 after that. Do that all the way down your row number 2. So I'm coming up all the way to the end of this, and remember, don't forget that turning chain is one of the stitches as well, and you're double crocheting into that as well. So make sure you go right into a stitch or a chain, not to a gapping space. Let's turn our work and do row number 3 together. So row number 3, again, very simplistic idea, and we are going to chain 3, which counts as a double crochet. So 1 2 and 3, and we're going to double crochet into the next double crochet that's available to you, just like so. And then these chain 2 spaces that you have, you're just going to go right into the space itself and put in 2 double crochets. So you're just kind of filling it in. So then you're gonna just continue to move along. So the next 2 double crochet will have double crochets again, 1 and 2, and then the next chain 2 space, just fill it in with 2 double crochets. Please do that all the way across for row number 3. So I'm coming to the very end of this row. This is row number 3. We're just filling in the spaces that you have, and then just putting double crochets in the other double crochets, and don't forget that turning chain one right at the end to fill that in right to a turning chain. So that was row number 3. So let's turn our work and go for row number 4. So row number 4, what's gonna happen is that we're gonna change the location of these by just shifting them just slightly, and we're only gonna just shift them by 1. So let's begin to do row number 4. Row number 4, we're gonna start up with the chaining of 4. So this is a double crochet, chain 1, that's what it equals. So 1, 2, 3, there's your double crochet, and chain 1 is your chain 1 space. So then we begin and we skip the next double crochet that we have. Sorry, it counts as a double crochet, chain 1, skip the next double crochet, and 1 double crochet in each of the next 2. So we skip the first one and go to the second one over, and we're gonna double crochet that one plus its friend next door. So we just shifted by 1, if you're noticing. Just see the holes shifting. So then we just chain 2, and then we just skip 2, and then double crochet into the next 2. So you can see in row number 4 here, we're just slightly off center. See, it's in the middle, and we continue to do that all the way across. So just continue what you already know, and then I'll meet you at the end of this row to make sure that you're finishing it off properly. And I'll see you there in just a moment. So as you come to the end of the row, you'll notice that you got your 2 in here, and then you have 2 left. So to keep it in balance, you're only gonna chain 1, and you're going to double crochet into the turning chain. So you're skipping 1 and going right to the turning chain to create that offset look that appears like so. You see that? So let's turn our work and let's do row number 5 together. So let's turn. In row number 5, guess what we're gonna do? Yes, we're gonna fill in those spaces that we've already just created. So we're gonna chain up 3, which counts as a double crochet, and then we immediately come into this chain 1 space, and we're gonna double crochet. So you're filling it in, and then you double crochet into the next 2 double crochets like so, and then you just fill in this chain 2 with 2 double crochets, and you already know what you're doing from this particular point. So just fill in everything, and what we'll do is meet you at the end of row number 5. So as you get to the end of row number 5, don't forget you have a chain 1 space there and then the outside. So just go right into the chain 1 space, and then just the next one is in the top of the turning chain to fill that in. So that was row number 5. So now we have to repeat rows from 2 to 5 all over again as many times as you need to go. It states that in the pattern for a distance of 39 inches if you wish. Now if you were going to finish at any other sizes, you gotta make sure you finish on a solid piece. We started off solid down here, so you wanna finish off on a solid so that you can do your border afterward. So let's just make sure you know what you're doing. Let's go back to row number 2, and we're going to chain up 3, and we're gonna double crochet into its friend next door, and then chain 2, and then skip 2 and double crochet into the next one after that and its friend. So now you can see you're going back to your roots of doing row number 2 again, and you can see that the gap that you had down here is now gonna match that one. So please do this, and you're gonna repeat rows number 2 through 5 now, and I'm going to meet you at the next point where we're gonna start doing the border. And the border is really quite simple. It's 3 rounds I believe, and you got to make sure that you end so that it's a solid piece. So you have to either end on row number 3 or 5, and it's just the solid ones that you have to end on, and I'll see you there in just a moment. When you're satisfied with the size of your blanket, all you're just going to do is to make sure that you finish off it's solid, and you are now going to take out this yarn. If you want to use the same yarn as a border, you can do so. It's not a big deal if you decide to do that, but the border can be doing any colors that you wish. So I'm gonna just change color just for the fun of it. So I'm just weaving in my ends at this particular point. Make sure that you weave them in on the bottom side as well, and you're good to go. So let's then start doing the edging next. So let's start doing the border. I'm just going to use a different color, and I'm just using a slip knot to put onto the hook first, and then I'm gonna go into the corner. It can be any corner that you wish, and you're just gonna slip stitch, chain 1, and what you want to do, it says put 3 single crochets in any corner. So this is a corner, so just single crochet 3 more times. So 1, 2, and 3. That allows you to turn the corner, and now you start proceeding forward to do 1 single crochet in each as you're going across. Now the nice thing about this particular border is just single crochet, so even if your counts are off when you're going up the sides, it's not a big deal because it's just single crochet. So it's not like there's a stitch count that matters for keeping a stitch consistent on the sides. So you're just single crocheting across your border, and I'll be to the next corner shortly. You obviously be a bit longer. Okay, and when you get to the corner, what are you gonna do? The corners are always gonna be the same. They're just gonna be 3 single crochets. So right in the corner we're gonna put 3 single crochets to allow us to turn. So 1, 2 and 3. So we have to equally space it now down the side, and so you gotta determine what you want to do. So I would probably recommend for you at this point is that you can go right into these side of the post. So I'm just gonna put 2, so 1 and 2, and then just jump to the next one, 1 and 2, and then jump to the next post. See, 1 and 2 and 1 and 2, and you keep doing that all the way down your side. So 1 and 2. The goal for you is to make sure when you do this is that you don't cause it to buckle. So if it's like doing something weird, it's not sitting flat, you know it's too many. So you're gonna go down this one, so 1 and 2, and then go into the top of the turning chain, and you're gonna put in how many, because you're turning, it's 3 single crochets. So make sure you go right into a turning chain itself. This keeps it stabilized. So 1, 2 and 3, and then keep on moving around. So just put in 1 single crochet. I just showed you how to move down the sides. So just 1 single crochet, evenly spaced all the way around, and when you're on the tops and bottoms it just can go into the stitches that you've already done. So I'll see you at the end of this round. So as you come up all the way around, you can still see it's laying flat. Let's just it is what it is, but it's not doing any kind of weird things. So you're just gonna continue to go down to sides. So I had you put in 3 single crochets right in the very first one as the turn, and so you're just gonna slip stitch to the first single crochet that you'd started with, and that's how you do it. So let's move on to round number 2 and 3. They're both the same, and what we're going to do is that we're in the first stitch of the 3 in the corner. So you're gonna chain up 1, and you're going to, where you did the attaching, you're just gonna do 1 single crochet, and the next one is the middle of the corner, and so again in the corner, so it's gonna be 3 single crochets into that same corner. So you've got to be paying attention to where the corners are, and then it's just 1 single crochet in each all the way around. So that means that when you get to this corner here, the middle one of the 3 right there will have 3 single crochets to allow you to turn the corner. So please do that all the way around for round number 2. So I'm coming up around round number 2, and then I'm just in my last stitch here, and then I just join it to the first one that I started with. So now I am looking for the next corner, which is right here, and so I'm just gonna chain up 1 single crochet into the first one, and then in the corners like I had before, actually it's right there, I just gotta go 1 more. So just in the corners again, 3 single crochets, so 1, 2 and 3, and then just continuing to go around then, and then the next corner look for the third one in, which is right there, and it's gonna be 3 single crochets in each. So please do this all the way around. This is the last round for today's baby blanket. So I'm just completing my last round, and this is it. So I'm just going to just join it to the top of the first single crochet, and that's good to go. So let me just show you how to weave in your ends, and I'm just gonna trim my yarn, and I'm gonna drag that yarn through the final loop, and that will lock it into position. You are going to grab a darning needle. It's the best way to do it, especially if it's for children, is that you are going to just put it into a darning needle, and you're just going to just glide it through underneath the stitch work. So don't impede that edge at all, just stay up underneath, okay, and just come across. So 1, and just pull it not too tight, and then go back in the other direction for 2, and go back in the other direction for 3. So that is permanently into position here, and then all you're just gonna do then is just trim it right down, and it's gone pretty much. So this is how you do this baby blanket. It's really kind of an easy idea, and I really enjoyed actually making the sample. I think you know, I think you can enjoy the little holes that will happen, and because you're gonna use a smaller hook and smaller yarn, that these will be much smaller. But this is also a cool enough blanket for you to have as an adult as well. And I've already talked to you about the multiples in this particular pattern, so you can change it, and the borders pretty much it can change as you need it to. So until next time, I'm Mikey on behalf of the Crochet Crowd as well as Yarnspirations.com. Have a great day. We'll see you again real soon. Bye bye.